What's going on? Alex with ASM 101. Happy to be on a live today. Today's video is about, if you saw in the thumbnail, you might have an idea of what's going on. Sorry, my camera's doing this flickering thing. So, anyways, we're here on a Sunday, and I want to talk about in-house versus subcontractors. And I know I've been on a bit of a business, a business kick as of late. And so anyways, it's part of the trade. It's part of my career, that's for sure. But what I really want to talk about is the difference between the two, in-house and subs. So I know the the big um, the big downfall that a lot of companies I know of when it comes to subs is quality, losing control of quality. And I just I totally understand. But what I really feel as though this this mentality needs to change around subcontracting is the the fear that you're going to lose control of the quality and lose control of your business, and ultimately, you know, um, go out of business. So my experience, first and foremost, when it comes to subcontracting, has been good. And I just wanted to say that it's doable. Don't don't shy away from it. But I wanted to share some of my experiences with you guys. So, first and foremost is the psychology. I don't even know if that's how you spell it. Probably not. Uh, but it's the psychology that's behind the mentality behind subcontractors versus in-house. Okay, so in-house, let's zoom in a bit. You guys don't have to watch. Doesn't matter. We're here on a Sunday. My kids are home. They're watching TV. So you guys either can watch me or you can watch Thomas the tank engine or Lego, whatever it is. What are you watching, Jack? Thomas. Okay, he's watching Thomas. But anyways, yeah, no, getting back to it, the psychology behind all of this, okay, is first and foremost, I wanted to speak on that. So when it comes to, I've hired in the past, right? And I've hired quite a few people. And I'm also going to admit too, I'm probably not the best when it comes to managing people. Maybe I'm not the best when it comes to, okay. Sorry. Here, let's see. I'm already being corrected. So let's change that. Here we go. Oh, like that. Save. There we go. There. What? There it is. Is that's how you spell it? All right. Anywho, so I've hired a lot of guys in the past, and I'm not saying it's a poor model, but I think when it comes to metal roofing, let's say you have a company like me. If you're like me, you just have a company doing metal only. And I think a lot of us think getting into, like, we're trade guys getting into business. So we don't maybe we don't have a lot of managerial skills by nature. And um, what happens is you get, like, I'm sure everyone in here probably experienced, whether you've been on the employee side or on the business owner side, is that when you're in a company, you train, the people get trained, and typically they leave the business, or they leave their employment to go start their own business. And this usually happens over a short period of time, right? It may happen, like, I had a guy work for me for a year and he decided that it was a good idea to go out on his own and start his own business. And this was really my first time experiencing that. So I took it a little bit personally, but I kind of knew that was happening. I kind of followed him a little bit in his business journey, and he ended up, you know, not only just doing poor quality work, like he was in over his head uh, a lot sooner than say someone like me would be in over my head. So on a few of his first projects, he was killing it, and then as project after project after project, he's I know a lot of customers complained about him. Anyways, he really just started to slip. So it was I feel like it was partially my fault that I allowed that to happen, but at the same time, I, he decided that it was time for him after 2 years of training to go out on his own, and they end up shooting themselves in the foot. So the psychology there for these guys to for in-house guys to do, they don't really have that um you know, as when you have in-house staff, they don't have that drive, right? So but if you know, a subcontractor who is their own person and who is the means to their own end per se, is going to have the right mentality when it comes to completing the jobs, right? I'm not going to get paid unless I finish the job, whereas an in-house guy, well, I get paid every week, so there's really no incentive for me to finish this job because I know I'm going to get paid anyways. I want to put kind of like the cherry on top here about this. This I find is very specific in our industry only. It's not a blanket statement for all trades. This I believe is only really applicable to our industry, metal roofing, right? Because it's not an accredited trade in most places. So like the guy I just talked about, he decided one day that he's just going to start his business. He didn't need specific amount of years doing the trade or a specific amount of training before opening up a business. In an unregulated trade, you can do that. You can just wake up one morning and decide, oh, I'm going to start a metal roofing business. So when it comes to the psychology, I think it's really important to know that this isn't a blanket statement for all trades. This is really just specific to metal roofing. Um, because in all those other trades, you in order to start a business, you have to become a master, have a master's license, or have some degree of training, or have someone on staff who is actually certified in the business that you're in. So that's the big difference. So that's why I would just take this kind of thing with a grain of salt when it comes to other trades. So getting back to the whole psychology of things, I think subs have the right mentality. They have the business mentality. It's very hard to get an employee in that frame of mind, right? Maybe you can do, there's a way to do it um, with some kind of incentive program within, but those are very hard to control and very hard to manipulate. With subs, it's, well, you get paid when you're done the job, and the faster you do it, the quicker you get paid, and the more efficient, you know, quality wise, especially within my company. If there's uh, when they put in an invoice, we go and we check the job to make sure that it's done up to snuff. Or the sub that I work with, he has very much been vetted. We are in constant contact throughout the project, and I'm there, basically there with him doing the job, just through pictures and stuff. But I trust him. I trust him implicitly when it comes to jobs, right? I actually trained him. We can go to the comments. Oh, it's Gersh. What's up, Gersh? What's up, buddy? Yeah. Give me a shout out. Said Gersh. Okay, yeah, Gersh. If you want to go check out Gersh, his channel is View from the Jungle. Go and see it on YouTube. He does restaurant reviews, amongst other things. I know he also likes to stir the pot. All right, let's get to the next slide here. Okay, so I wanted to also bring up work ethic, and if there's any other questions, make sure to drop it in the comments. That's if you're on was this live, your show up on stream. So yeah, your comments can come up on screen just like this. Also, too, you have to give StreamYard permission to show your face on this stream. So, anyways, getting it back to the banner. There we are. Work ethic. So like I said, I've hired a lot of people, and let's just say the get out of bed factor is a lot different from in-house employees to subcontractors, right? And I would say there needs to be this ridiculous form of motivation for an in-house employee to get out of bed and go and perform, right? Especially in the colder weather, right? It's, company culture is great and everything, but when it comes to our industry, it's hard to find a company that specializes in architectural sheet metal only, and then also have all of these really great company aspects in mind. So, like, I would say, because it's not a registered trade, a lot of people don't see it as a long-term career option, right? So they don't see a lot of advancement. They look at metal roofing as kind of a job, not so much a career, but more of a job. So when you get that, it's, again, if the person applying for a metal roofing job, that just goes to show you that they're maybe not really in it for the long haul. They're really just there to pay some bills, which is fine. Everyone needs to be able to do that. But the quality of applicants that I'm seeing are, either they're green, they're brand new, and you have to train them from the ground up, which, that's ultimately what we're left with, right? And if you're agreeing with stuff, leave it in the comments and we can talk about it, if you've experienced this yourselves. But the like I said, the get out of bed factor, right? Is it enough that you got to pay your bills to, I don't know what just happened there, but yeah, hit the like button too, wherever you're watching from. The get out of bed factor. So, like, for a sub, for example, for them to get out of bed, like, everything is on them, right? And I think that's just, it's a much healthier way to um to to approach, like, your work ethic, right? It's a much healthier work ethic that you get because of the driving factors that are pushing you in your head, your mentality, and everything, that you are the sole driver of this. And if we don't push hard enough, it won't happen. If I don't get out of bed today, it won't happen. I can't call in and say I don't feel like coming in today, or making up some excuse that I can't come in, right? So I'm really trying to push this kind of this idea that a sub's state of mind versus an in-house person's state of mind is going to be a 180 degree difference, right, between the two. Because at the end of the week, the in-house employee gets paid, and regardless of whether they performed or not, right, they just had to show up on time, and even that's a stretch sometimes. But I just know from my experience that moving into the subcontractor model of employment, it's removed that what would you call, like, it's removed that kind of insecurity in my own guys, or lack of faith in my own guys, because I know that their head is in the game, because it has to be. All right, so moving on here. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, follow if you're watching off of Facebook. Really helps us out, pushes our content out further and further. We also do trainings online. If you're interested, you can drop me a comment in here, or if you're watching on the replay, just comment down below. I can hook you up. Also in the description, I put a few links to the tools that we use. But yeah, let's keep moving on here. There's one more. Oh, hold on. I got to create this banner. Cost, I think, is a good topic to talk about. Because I just wanted to touch on some of the benefits that come from my end of things in terms of cost, right? The employee, his or hers performance is variable, right? We don't know what's gonna what we're who we're getting on what day, and this is just coming from my perspective. If you're really if you have a different one, leave it in the comments and we can talk about it. But the idea of um, the benefits that come from hiring a sub cost wise is it's now an expense for the 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 contracting company. So myself, I contract out to a subcontract. For the contracting company myself, it becomes an expense to my company. It's now a write-off, right? So it helps save on that. It's also one number, right, that we're dealing with. It's a fixed rate that we're now dealing with. And it helps me in pricing, because moving forward we can set different rates for different times of year. We can set different rates for different applications, whether it's steep slope, low slope, is it double folded, is it this, is it that. And I think it really just, not only does it help me cost wise, but it also helps my sub, right? And I'm going to jump back to the in-house employee who's there. He's just there, or they're just there to, get through the day, put their hours in, hit their 40 by the end of the week, and collect a paycheck. It's really hard to stay motivated. In my experience, like when I was a paid employee, an hourly guy. Oh, it did thumbs up again. I don't know how it does that. But when I was it's really hard to stick with it, right? It's this. I mean, maybe it's a new generation. Maybe it's a generational thing. Maybe some of the older generation guys were, that was just how it was, right? You go to work, you collect a paycheck, and you save. You put a little bit away, and when you retire, you're home free, right? But it's different now. The new generation, they're into different things. They're not into putting a little bit away. So it's really hard to see the big picture as an employee, because you have such a narrow kind of focus on what it is that you need to do. um so like, I think it's good for especially the guy who's really, you know who's really into what he's doing, who wants to really learn and do a good job and get and compensated for it, right? The the kind of elite, kind of top tier guys don't really want to stick around to see what's going to happen, and if it's poor leadership, they're out. And I think ultimately elite guys, the good ones, have it already kind of uploaded into their brain, that is an option. So like going out on their own is an option. I've done it twice in my business so far, where I've trained up a guy and kind of structured it to eventually move out on their own. And in both circumstances, they have both never went back to working hourly. They have stayed the course. They have, continued on in their subcontracting journey. Um, and in terms of like this all again all falls under mentality, but for the guy who's or the for the person, sorry, I always screw that up. Anyways, for the guy who's looking at um, you know what, I really have a hard work ethic. I really like to do a good job and work hard and show up, and I really have the confidence in my ability. I think it's a really good route for that person to look at different ways of getting paid if that person or if whoever they're working for is up for it. Because you shift gears, you now can, you know, get paid for your production, right? For this, what's in here, what's in here now translates to the number on the paycheck. And yeah, I don't know what's going on. My screen's doing something wacky, but this is what I'm saying. So I'm not if you're an employee or if you're an apprentice, stay there, right? Learn the ropes, right? There's a time and a place to branch out into the subcontracting world or on your own. Early on is not the time. This is what I've done. I did a full apprenticeship, did my time in the trenches, man. I learned the trade, right? When I got into business, when I got out of the weekly paycheck, I could, in my mind, had the confidence to basically wrap anything in metal, right? Where I came from, that's what we did. So I was very confident in my ability, which is probably the reason why I thought I could start my business, which that's another conversation for another day. But it, I wouldn't entertain this thing, the subcontracting world, unless you have a certain degree of experience, minimum 5 years, right? Installing. Once you do that, then you're good to go. But if there's any questions, put them in the comment box. I see Gersh, you're blowing it up. I appreciate it. What do we got? How do you keep good employees, and how do you incentivize them into staying? It's no. What what I would what I would recommend, and I'm definitely not the best one to be talking to about incentivizing guys to stay, because um, my track record doesn't show for it. But I think that also has to do a lot with the industry, right? Um, anyways, I think, and my approach to the longest term guys I've had are both now subcontractors. Okay, and if you can develop some kind of career path or growth path for this employee, and tell them at the beginning, right? Even if they're green, say we have this option within the business. Once you hit a certain point, you become eligible to be vetted as a subcontractor, right? Or have that career goal path as a subcontractor, right? So I think that's a really good way to retain people, is to give them that kind of that full transparency when it comes to advancement and growth, and then ultimately no ceiling to what they can make. I think is also a great way to retain people. Also, providing training, providing education, I think is also another, because again, it alludes to that growth path, right? That career path, that what they're doing is not a waste of their time. It's reinforced by actual training. And I think it's just really, it's just good practice, as a journeyman who's come before them, to pass on the knowledge too. So if you're a company who isn't really uh, who isn't really focused in on metal and looking to transfer over, that's also another way, right? Offering, hey, maybe a different kind, like, you don't have to be shingling forever. We can move you into a top tier installer doing metal, doing all kinds of different applications, right? So um yeah, that is honestly, for me, I think one of the better ways to incentivize a long term, into staying long term, for sure. I've racked my brain a million times, right? And like I'll say it again: the guys who have been with me the longest have moved on to becoming a sub with my help, right? They're what they didn't start with me as with that career path in mind. I, along the way, was starting to get signals from them that they were thinking of leaving, right? Because as a business owner, you already have it in the back of your mind that the likelihood of them leaving is pretty high. So you already kind of have that in your mind. So you kind of get this sixth sense of when it's starting to happen, right? So I was just really tired of training people and them leaving, right? So you got to get creative, and I think this path for the, because now once they're a sub, they're their own man, right? So they're their own, um they are the means to their end, right? They're not there. The only person they have to impress, obviously me, right? But they are the judge and jury of their own production. If they get to the end of the day and it was not a good production day, it hit their bank account. Excuse me. It hit them in their wallet, and they know it. And that's when you're suffering a loss, even though it's kind of a bad way to look at it. It's a great incentive to produce better next time. So, anyways, Robbie Baker, what does he got here? Fixed rates. You guys bring more of it. Yeah. I think I think we're on the same page, Robbie. We'll see what your fixed rates and fixed responsibility with the sub. Yeah. So Robbie, if you're still on here, are you currently employing subs right now? Do you own a business? I'm thinking by the way you're talking, that's the case. But we got hourly guys bring more variables, price and time, which also puts all safety and liability on the company. Yeah, and we can also talk about workplace safety. Oh, look, I'm doing it again. Thumbs up. Thumbs up, y'all. Look at, woo. I don't know how this happens, but it's sick. This is awesome. Those were fireworks for uh hitting 3,800, almost 3,900 subscribers on the YouTube channel. Anyways, yeah, sorry, Robbie, get back. I have ADHD, I think. I get very distracted very easily. Okay, so if we're talking liability, I think it's also a good topic. So where do we start with this? So WSIB, in where I'm from, it's Workplace Safety and Insurance Board. It's workplace insurance. Okay, so as a company, I have to pay premiums for my workers to be protected if they ever get hurt on the job site. Our provincial health care will not cover them if it's done at work. So there's this Workplace Safety and Insurance Board. It's exactly like car insurance, right? If you're driving around town without car insurance and you hit somebody, you really throw a wrench into all kinds of stuff. So it's law to have insurance while driving a car on the road. It's law to have Workplace Safety and Insurance Board premiums paid and member in good standing to be in business and charge for work in the province of Ontario, where I'm at, which probably is very similar to what you got going on where you are. But if we're talking about like the rules in my part of the world is if the subcontract or we call it independent worker, uh, if that worker does more than 80% of their total billables with one contractor, or like, then that contractor could still, if they don't pay their WSIB like good little girls and boys, then WSIB can go after that company still for their owed workplace premiums, or the safety premiums. So yeah, I think it's important, if you're doing subcontracting models, to stay on top of things, have an administrative process to make sure that the subcontract, like you can do a whole subcontractor agreement. You can make sure that as part of that agreement, that they're staying true to the agreement that you made them sign. Part of that agreement is they must be in good standing with workplace, the safety insurance, all premiums paid. I think if you can get that process locked down, it just really it protect. You got to protect the contracting company. Me myself, I got to protect myself against that. Because just like with anyone, anybody could get hurt and stop working and not able to pay their premiums, right? So I the Robbie, what you're saying, hourly guys bring more variables. Yes, I think we have enough variables in this industry as it is. Why add more unpredictability, right? As a business owner myself, I like predictability, business, repetition, repeatability, predictability it's a great way to be in business, right? It's like McDonald's. Whenever you go to McDonald's, you get the same fries no matter what McDonald's you go to. It should be the same in the company you're in, and that that predictable outcome is what you're trying to achieve. So it's with guys, I just I can rely on them more when they're subbing for me, right? Because I don't know, they're happier to have. So in there, as a sub, you have more freedom. There's nobody, you're the boss, you're not in you don't have a boss over top making sure you just do. He's just reporting to me, invoicing me for certain like finish lines he crosses throughout the job, the project, and we're back and forth. It's like it's like he's working for me, but I just pay him differently, and he absolutely loves it. I don't have I only work with one sub crew right now. I'd like to expand that a little bit. But I think what happens, and just to kind of come full circle on this right now, where I've had a lot of guys tell me, hey, if you're subbing, it's the beginning of the end of your company, right? And I really, when someone tries to tell me something so final or so matter of fact, and they warned me, Alex, I'll be the first one to say, well, I got to find out for myself, right? That might be maybe a defect that I have, but it's just, I have to find out for myself. And if you say I can't do it, I got to find out for myself that I can't do it. I'm not going to rely on you. So this sub thing, I'm kind of proving these guys wrong who've been telling me that it's a bad path to be on. So far, so good, and I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and it's been great, right? The onus is on me to get the work, but I can do that. My company is fairly established in the area. I wouldn't say we're the biggest company, but people know us. They know our work. They know the quality standard we stand by. And for us to get work is definitely a lot easier than my guy going and jumping and getting work, right? I'll say one more thing. Yeah, Robbie's got, I use subcontractors for almost all the work. Right on. Yeah. How is it working with your subs, like in terms of your stress level as a business owner? Can you expand on that in the comments too? I think it's important to say to know that, right? Like the unnecessary stress we put ourselves through to keep guys on payroll, right? And that grind to keep them working. And then are they showing up on time? Should I send them to site first, not come to the shop? Should I send them to the shop first and not go to site first? Did they grab everything? It's like babysitting, and it's kind of like, it's a bit of a drag, right? There is a time and a place for that. If you're training guys in house and you're trying to breed these guys, there's a time and a place for that, right? But if you get that really good guy, this might be a good option, right? To keep to hold on. Sorry, Robbie, I'll take you off screen for a second. I'll take that cost thing off. Sorry, y'all. Oh geez, I forgot what I was gonna say. I get so distracted sometimes. But yeah, it's just the stress of having these guys and putting measures in place to like enhance my ability to babysit, right? And if you get that good guy, like I was saying, this might be a good path to help retain a really good guy. Robbie said, I'm from BC, so basically the same thing where I am. Yeah. Yeah. Did you go to or do anything with RCABC? I know they're pretty big out there. Roofing Contractors Association, British Columbia. They have an architectural sheet metal worker apprenticeship out there. They are like RCABC is the closest thing I have ever found to an architectural sheet metal worker accreditation. I have not found one anywhere else. Robbie, bring here in BC, subcontractors need their own workplace insurance and liability. When or if they default, it falls back on the primary contractor. Yeah, for sure. So when and if, what a new and check wherever you all are watching from, check in with the insurance board, because some updates happen and they try and make it easier for the contractors to check in on all of their what do they call it, their certificate, when to show people that you've paid your premiums and you're in good standing. There's a certificate you can get, a certificate of qualification. Anyways, it's proof. You can get proof I've had to do it a million times. You have to get proof that your premiums are paid and you're a member in good standing with the insurance board, to give to the contractor to prove to them that you are, you're legit, right? So recently, I wouldn't say recently, I would say maybe for the past 4 or 5 years, the insurance board that I deal with have, thumbs up again. The insurance board that I deal with made it a lot easier by allowing us a portal online to search up these contractors to see if their premiums are paid and they're in good standing, without having to chase them down for that form. I can just pull the form myself now, right? So yeah, it's just like I was saying before, you want to really dial in a good admin process, specifically geared towards your subcontractors, making sure those contracts are up to date and signed for every calendar year. I would say put in the contract that it's only good. It's only an annual contract. put in the contract the rates inside that contract, the agreed upon rates. Or what I do the rates, but I also still get them to do an estimate for each and every job too. That way, there's always some kind of number to reference, because you know how it goes on the job. Sometimes square footages get mixed up with other square footages, and it makes for less awkward conversations down the line. Put it all on paper, for sure. If Yeah, I'll stay for a little bit longer. We're at 40 minutes right now, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so what I think some plans to help kind of promote this this kind of approach to business, and this approach to building up the industry, right? I think, and what kind of just dreaming out loud here a little bit for ASM 101, and in the future of architectural sheet metal, but also how we can be better in our businesses, and how we can be better business owners, and providing good quality installations, I think is, and tell me what you guys think, right? Because like, we are the ones who are going to be the driving force behind this. It's the workers that are going to really drive this thing home. Okay, so tell me what you think in the comments about what I'm about to say. So you could, because I've been in this game for a bit, I've seen, you hire enough people, you start to see the downfall of things, and yeah, I'm sure you guys would agree. You see that enough, and you do one of two things, right? You either fold it up and say, screw this, I'm going to work for somebody else, or if you're like me, are stubborn and say, I'm going to see this through till I lose all of my hair, right? Okay. I am that. I'm the latter, right? So I keep going over scenarios, like how can we change this? How can we make it better? Because the industry in and of itself is so lucrative and so full of opportunity and potential that it would be like letting letting it die. It would just be a shame, right? And just turning my back on it. I'm also in love with sheet metal. I'm a sheet metal nerd geek, okay? And I it for me, there's no other option other than for it to progress and heal from everything that has gone on, right? Robbie, I'll get to your comments here in a second. So hear me out. Like I was saying, RCABC has this. It's the Roofing Contractors Association out there. I think we should, and they do this over in Europe too. They have a guild. Okay, they have a guild that is created by the tradespeople for the tradespeople. Okay, is it a union? Well, okay, it is, but to me, it's a union of business owners who want to, and I really just see business owners getting in on it, like a group. It's a group of business owners who would, what do you think? Because like as an association, you could do all kinds of different things. You can, get a membership going, and that membership would allow you access to certain trainings, and to maintain your membership, you have to attend said trainings. If you miss more than this many trainings, your membership's pulled, right? It's all there. Like I've been to RCABC, I've gone out there to check them out. they have a Red Star something warranty program. The people that hire through, or like a member of our CABC gets the job, that company customer gets the warranty of that association along with whatever warranty that company provides. But it's just this reassurance, right? And that's what I think would really help build things up and really help drive things home. It could also be a hub for finding good guys, trading off different guys, meetings where you would, networking events where we could, all this stuff, right? And I think that would be a really good, at least, start to healing some of these wounds that our trade is definitely contracted. Here we go. So Robbie's saying, for first initial pricing is difficult, just because as time goes on and the sub has more options, their price tends to go up. So sometimes it's a little hard to keep consistent rates. Also, one thing I will say I do with my subs is I teach them how to price, right? I teach them how to price. I take them through my model. I don't. I try and steer them away from the industry standard, right? I charge what everyone else is, what the industry says to charge. That's it's a fallacy of business. It's a lie. It's a dirty lie. And you should not price jobs based on industry standard. You should know your numbers. You should know your overhead. You should know your break even margins and all that stuff, and charge accordingly, according to your numbers and what it says you need to charge. Right? That's a whole other conversation for a whole other video, and I don't really want to get into that. But one last thing from Robbie before we go. Otherwise, it's fairly simple. It's a contract with a description. Yeah, man, for sure. All right. Well, thanks for hopping on. All hit the video. Anyone who's here on the replay, there's going to be a video on screen somewhere. Hit that. Appreciate everyone being here today, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.